But a lot of electronics, you can't control different features if you don't have the remote for it. So, discovered the business, did some homework on it, and pass this. So stuff happens. So with this business, I've been able to create local jobs, people who clean and test them for me, and I train and hire them. They make 50 cents a remote. They bring them back clean and tested, and then we re-inspect them again before we photograph them and list them to be sold. We increase the life of existing consumer electronics, and we're keeping a lot of remote controls and electronic waste out of landfills. Our business, we buy pallets of remotes, clean them, test them, and turn them into a viable commodity that can be sold online. Current market size on the eBay channel is over $3 million a year selling used remote controls. That comes out to $8,200 a day, and it's a very high margin business. Sourcing is not difficult because there's so many PC and electronic recyclers, which I'll show you more about in a minute. The operating overhead is low, and it's an extremely scalable business. So far, in 6 months, I've processed, or my team has processed, over 10,000 individual remote controls. We now have 5% of the used eBay market share in 6 months. We sell $10,000 to $12,000 worth of remotes a month, and we're doing about $300 to $400 a day in remote sales. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be mirroring the sales that we currently have on eBay, which is over 5,000 remotes. They're going to be mirrored on Amazon as well. I used a third-party provider to be able to synchronize one standard inventory and carry it on both platforms. So everything you see number-wise right now has the potential to be doubled just on platform alone, not volume. Volume will increase as well. So inventory growth. I understand that inventory is normally a bad thing to build up, but in my world it's actually a good thing. So in the last 6 months, we've created a standing inventory with a listed value of $82,000. Understand, while we created that inventory, we got paid to put it there. So I don't have costs sitting there. I've actually got profit putting that inventory on those shelves. The reason that that's important for me is it allows me to go deeper with a reserve of a certain type of remote if I get 20 in, because I get whatever I get. So I need to let them sit there in order to get the correct amount of money for them. It takes time on the market, so I can write it out. There's no cost to this inventory. I'm happy to have it sitting there. Right now we're adding about $10,000 a month to the inventory on top of the sales that we're creating. And this was explaining that we normally sell, if I get a pallet of remote controls, we'll process those, and within 3 weeks I'll already have back all the money that I paid for that entire pallet. And we've only touched a small amount of remotes because it's very inexpensive to buy them. This is the number of PC recyclers right now in the US. There's almost 1,000 of them. This is actually a real map of the electronic recyclers. Now, everything that I've done with my business so far, this will tell you the number of recyclers that we're currently working
with. Better than shooting to China.
I'm trying to make a point with that this is a huge opportunity. So my goal was in the next 2 years, I want on 30% of the eBay market share, having 30,000 different types of remotes listed. I want to sell between 60 and 72,000 a month, and that'd be $2,400 a day with profit of $40,000 a month. And again, this is only on the eBay platform. This isn't putting any points or knowledge into the Amazon marketplace, because that'll be brand new as of tomorrow. Any questions? Yes?
Who's your employee, and is there any mobility in their space?
The employees that I use for cleaning the remotes, they come and pick up a bin and they leave. So they are true contract employees, they're in total control. And I actually ran an ad on Craigslist for employees, had 10 people answer. At the end of the day, they all wanted to do the work, and I have one of those that turned out really good. I've got another person. So right now, this is all being done with two employees cleaning remotes, and then contract workers is the right word.
Can you run the math on how that works for those two folks? If you're doing, or they are doing 60 a day, and they're getting 50 cents per cleaning, that's $30 in a day, that's not really living big.
I didn't
What-
understand.
What's the number
They
that they're,
pick up a bin of 100 at a time.
but you're averaging 60 a day.
Right, but that's how many I'm selling. I'm selling 30. But the
Okay.
rest of it's going on the shelves. That inventory you saw, there's 5,000 remotes sitting there that have been paid and cleaned.
So for these two guys, how much money are they making in a day's work?
In a day's work,
Yeah.
$50 to $100, depending on how many they get cleaned.
Okay.
How efficient they are.
Correct. And when you hire these employees, they're not top of the market. These are people that probably don't have jobs otherwise. They're great people. They've got great heart. But they're not people who are doing other activities, and they just fit this into, I don't care if you do it at night, 2 in the morning, I don't care. Because we're gonna inspect all the work that's being done to make sure it's being done correctly. And I've ended up with really good people that way.
What's your average price point for a remote?
$15, $40. And the cost of the remote is, we get about 2.5 per pound, and I'm paying $1 to $1.75 per pound. So all into a remote, I'm into it for about 20. Yes.
What, will your margin be the same through Amazon as eBay, or will they take a bigger bite?
It will end up being about the same because you don't pay listing fees through Amazon. You're gonna pay about the same, but it's only gonna be final value fees when they do it. Yes.
What's your end game of this business? Where does this lead you to in 5 years? Is it just something that you sit on autopilot and let it run, or do you want to sell it to somebody at some point?
Well, I'm going to build this to the point where I'm just managing the manager. And at that point, if it was sold and I moved on to my other business, I wouldn't mind that a bit. Right now, I'm enjoying growing it.
Is there a planned obsolescence around these controls? How long are we gonna have these handhelds in this business?
Well, you know, it's interesting because if you looked at a timeline graph, and you're gonna see the remotes fall off for the TVs that were first made, but this keeps moving forward. Everything you buy today has got another remote with it. So tomorrow's market is being created with every bit of electronics today. So I don't see that going away until we no longer have remote controls that control our devices.
You know, I've seen things like this with cell phones and such. They'll ship them off to China, and then China then disposes them or recycles them or back engineers them. So the story goes.
Yeah. Yes.
I think about a value prop. The holy grail is one remote to run everything in your house.
Yes.
Are you on your way to development of that?
Nope. I don't build remotes. I don't fix remotes. I clean and test them. The less I touch them, the better off I am.
If that works, is that a threat to your business though?
No, because right now there's already whole home remotes. If people wanted a replacement remote, universal devices, they're out there. But people like, as I say, the same doodad that came with their TV, their remote, their projector. People go online to get the same one that came with it. They don't look for universals. I mean, there is a market for universals, but
Helps you like a parent. You want to make sure that your kids aren't getting into things they're not supposed to get into.
yeah, the parental controls and locks.
Ray, what were you doing before this, or while you're doing this?
Okay, I owned a manufacturing company in Bellevue, Washington, and I had 2 partners I ran that business with, and then I started a toy business. I've done over $2.4 million worth of sales on eBay in the toy business, and I saw that getting soft, looked for different markets, and came up with this business model, and did homework on it, and brought it to where it is today.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, what percentage of your business is international? And then 2 parts, international sales, and then are you seeing trends in any parts of domestic or international that are starting to grow?
International is about 20%, between 15 and 20% of what we do.
Can I see your picture again?
Did you mention that you're a resident of the Napa Business Accelerator working with John Claren with this?
You did.
I'm not going to repeat it now, but
You are doing real well.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.